All right, let's get into it. What do Sanford and Son, the Waltons, and 227 have in common? The answer is Halroy Candace Williams. Hey, it's Emma, and I am feeling super nostalgic today. Living room floor, TV dinner nostalgic. So let's talk. Halroy Candace Williams was that American character actor who just popped up everywhere and somehow always made the scene land. Think authority meets warmth with killer timing. Across more than 5 decades, he became the familiar face you trusted. Officer Smitty on Sanford and Son in the 70s, Harley Foster on the Waltons, then the lovable, steady dad Lester Jenkins on 227 in the 80s. Different vibes, same reliable heartbeat. He brought the kind of presence that says, "I've got this." Let me set the scene. Family TV night at my place when I was a kid was a whole ritual. We're talking the couch that squeaked, the blanket no one would share, and Sanford and Son reruns humming like a lullaby. Officer Smitty walks in, and my dad, who thought he was the mayor of our living room, would sit up and go, "See, that's how you keep the peace." My mom would roll her eyes like, "Sir, you can't even keep track of the remote." The stakes felt huge back then. Family bonding lived or died on whether the show hit, and Smitty always hit. He had that calm, wry authority, like he could write you a ticket or crack a joke, and either way, you'd thank him. Which, by the way, led to a very chaotic moment when my brother tried to do Smitty's cool official walk. He was holding the TV remote like a citation pad, strutting around saying, "Ma'am, I'm gonna have to fine you for reckless snack distribution." Then he tripped over a sock and literally cited himself. Epic fail, but also peak childhood. The lesson I took away. Character actors like Hal Williams knit our living rooms together. They're the connective tissue of TV culture. Not the loudest, not always top billed, but the ones who make everything feel true and end up living rent-free in our memories. Okay, let's move on. Quick 101. Who was Halroy Candace Williams? Picture a Swiss Army knife for television. Versatile, reliable, always the right tool. He was born in the 30s in Columbus, Ohio. In the early 1960s, he was doing community theater while working as a postal worker and a corrections officer. That day job discipline shows up later in his on-screen authority. He moved to Hollywood by the late 60s and went full-time acting around 1970. By 1971, he was scoring TV credits like That Girl and The Jimmy Stewart Show. Within a couple years, boom, Officer Smitty on Sanford and Son. By the mid-70s, he's on the Waltons as Harley Foster, and in family films like Herbie Rides Again. The 1980s gave us Private Benjamin, the movie and the series, and of course, 227, where he's the dad we all wanted on speed dial. Tiny glossary, because I got you. Recurring role means a character who pops up across multiple episodes but isn't in every single one. Main cast means weekly regulars. Voice role means you hear them but don't see them. Easiest definitions ever. Now, the collaborators. Paul Schrader, the director behind Hardcore in the late 70s, put Hal in a very not safe for Sunday school role named Big Dick Black. Yes, that's the character name. It's an auditioning adult film actor. It's wild and bold and shows Hal wasn't boxed in by uniforms. Then there's Howard Zieff, director of Private Benjamin. Hal's drill sergeant in the 1980 film was so indelible, he carried that character into the TV series from 1981 to 1983. That kind of film-to-TV continuity for a supporting character was rare and a huge flex. Clint Eastwood, the actor-director, brought him into The Rookie in 1990 as Detective Powell. Hard-edged, clean lines, pure authority energy. David Carradine, star of Kung Fu, had Hal guest star as Caleb in 1973 and then again in 1975, which tells you producers trusted him to anchor those stories. And yes, the 1990s gave him The Sinbad Show with Sinbad, who is a stand-up turned sitcom star. They later linked up again in The Cherokee Kid, a Western comedy, proving Hal could pivot from precinct to prairie without breaking a sweat. In the 2000s, he's in Guess Who with Bernie Mac, connecting him to a new generation of moviegoers. And let's not skip the resume seasoning. He hopped across TV staples like Hill Street Blues, Magnum PI, Night Court, the T.J. Hooker pilot, The Jeffersons, and even Moesha in the late 90s. A career that basically speedruns American television history, and somehow he never looked out of place. That's not luck. That's craft. Okay, pause, because this next part is everything. There's a little debate about when his screen career really begins or ends. Some people say the late 60s because he made the move to Hollywood then. Others clock the early 70s because the on-screen credits hit around 1971, with an uncredited film role in 1972, and then the big wave starting in 1972 to 1973. For the endpoint, you could say the 2010s, because of Flight in 2012, where he did a voice role as the main character's dad, or the late 2010s, with that cameo as himself on a Black Lady sketch show. But we also saw him in the mid-2020s on the Matlock revival, playing Autry in 2024 and again in 2025. So when do you stamp the passport? Here's my take. Stop obsessing over the calendar. The impact is the point. He kept showing up and making scenes work, decade after decade. That's the resume. Also, can we talk about the courage of leaving a steady paycheck? He was a postal worker and corrections officer. Stable, serious jobs. Then he jumps to acting full-time around 1970. That's not a soft pivot, that's a free fall. And it paid off because the industry figured out his secret sauce fast. Put Hal in an authority role, and your scene immediately feels grounded. But he could slide into heart, too. That's how you get the drill sergeant in Private Benjamin, and the warm dad in 227 living in the same body. Range like that is a gift. Lasting relevance check? The Waltons gave him a place in classic American family drama, and 227 made him a pillar of Black sitcom history in the 80s, showing a working-class family navigating life with love and humor. That visibility matters. Representation isn't a buzzword. It's the difference between a character feeling like a joke and a character feeling like your neighbor. That's why even his late career credits landed. A Black Lady sketch show tied him to a new generation. Then Matlock's revival in 2024 and 2025. At an age when most people are like, please bring me a cardigan and silence, he was still booked and busy. Love that for him. He passed in 2026 at 91. A long life, a longer legacy. The man worked across 6 decades and never got mid. Not once. That is iconic. Okay, let's leave it there for now. Next time, I'm diving into the wild world of TV sitcoms and how they quietly rewire our culture while we're just trying to eat snacks on the couch. So, that's the tea, folks. Halroy Candace Williams exemplified TV greatness by simply showing up and elevating everything around him. I need to hear your take on your favorite Smitty or 227 moment. Slide into the DMs and I'll see you next time.